Tonight we are looking at a crisis unfolding in plain sight. It's a crisis you can see and feel on the streets of America's greatest cities. The usual sounds of summer have faded. The vibrant mix of languages from around the globe has faded. In their place, an unnerving silence. Once bustling landmarks now stand strangely quiet. World-famous avenues are empty. Tour buses sit idle. World-famous avenues are empty. No visitors snapping photos. This is not a scene from a dystopian movie. This is the reality in major U.S. cities in September of 2025. The cause is not a natural disaster or a global pandemic. It's a man-made catastrophe. A policy decision that has turned off the tap of international tourism almost overnight. The numbers tell a shocking story. Catastrophic drop in international visitors. Some cities down over 70%. Think about that. For every 10 international tourists who would have been here, 7 have stayed away. The economic fallout has been swift and brutal. Billions of dollars in lost revenue, hotels, restaurants, shops, theaters. This isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet, this is about livelihoods. Small business owners watching their dreams evaporate. Workers facing layoffs as shifts are cut and jobs disappear. It's an economic disaster spiraling out of control. The source is a single controversial policy. A new $250 visa application fee for tourists from dozens of countries. Nowhere is this crisis more visible than in New York City. The city that never sleeps is now taking a forced nap. Times Square now feels strangely subdued. The throngs of visitors that once made it nearly impossible to walk are gone. The famous red steps are sparsely populated. Costumed characters are finding few people to pose with. Broadway theaters are reporting a dramatic drop in ticket sales, with many shows now playing to half-empty houses. On the other side of the country, Los Angeles is facing its own version of this disaster. The Hollywood Walk of Fame, usually a river of people, is now just a trickle. Tour buses that take visitors through Beverly Hills and to the homes of the stars are running at a fraction of their capacity. Some operators have had to suspend services entirely. The world-famous theme parks in the region have seen a steep decline in international attendance. This has a direct impact on the thousands of jobs at the parks and in the surrounding hotels, restaurants, and souvenir shops that depend on that steady flow of global visitors. And in Miami, the vibrant energy that defines the city has been severely dampened. South Beach, known for its Art Deco architecture and pulsating nightlife, feels different. Art Deco architecture scenes with far fewer tourists. Nightlife areas and clubs are far less busy than usual. The sidewalk cafes along Ocean Drive, typically overflowing with European and South American tourists, now have plenty of empty tables. The city's luxury hotels, which cater heavily to an international clientele, are grappling with staggering vacancy rates. The new visa fee has acted like a wall, cutting off a vital stream of visitors. These three cities, each a unique and powerful symbol of American culture, share a common story of economic pain. So how did this happen? Let's break down the thinking behind the $250 visa fee. The policy was introduced by the Department of Homeland Security. It was promoted as a critical update to our travel infrastructure. The law was titled the Secure Travel and Infrastructure Modernization Act. Proponents said our entry systems were outdated, biometric screening technology, data processing centers. They argued existing visa fees didn't cover the costs. Officials promised dual benefits, better security and economic self-sufficiency. Revenue would create a dedicated fund to pay for technological upgrades, for airport expansion projects, and to hire more customs and border protection officers. The pitch, a safer, faster entry process, makes the U.S. more attractive. Presented as a user fee, fair and simple. Critics warned the plan miscalculated price sensitivity, especially for families. A family of 4 from Brazil would face roughly $1,000 in extra visa costs. That's before booking flights or hotels. That added cost would push the U.S. out of reach for many middle-class families, and make competing destinations more appealing. Europe, Southeast Asia, Canada, Mexico. Despite warnings, the bill passed earlier this year. For a real sense of the damage, you have to talk to the people on the ground. We spoke with Maria Rodriguez, who owns a small, family-run restaurant in Miami's Little Havana. For 20 years, her business thrived on tourists from South America and Europe, eager for an authentic Cuban meal. Today, her restaurant is quiet. It's like someone turned off a switch. Last summer we had a line out the door every night. Now I've had to cut my staff's hours in half. These are people with families to feed. The story is the same in New York. We met David Chen, manager of a mid-range hotel in Midtown Manhattan. He showed cancellations in the reservation system. Tour operators from Europe and Asia are seeing customers cancel. They are booking trips to London, to Paris, to Rome instead. Why pay an extra $1,000 for visas when Europe is cheaper? We are looking at 40% vacancy for the fall. I've never seen anything like it. We are in survival mode. City leaders echo this desperation. The mayor of Los Angeles held a press conference calling the visa fee economic self-sabotage. He presented data on a massive shortfall in hotel occupancy taxes. Those taxes fund services like sanitation and public safety. We were told this was about security and modernization, but what we are getting is an economic crisis. We are losing hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's not just owners and politicians. Tourists notice too. We paid it because this was a dream for us. But they cut the trip short by 3 days to afford it. The city is very quiet. It is not what we expected. America is closing its doors. The economic damage from this visa fee isn't contained to just a few businesses. It's a ripple effect, a stone thrown into the economic pond that is sending waves of disruption across the entire tourism ecosystem. The most immediate and obvious impact is on the hotel industry. Major hotel chains are reporting a significant drop in occupancy rates, particularly in the gateway cities that rely heavily on international guests. But the pain is even more acute for smaller, independent hotels that don't have the backing of a large corporation to weather the storm. Boutique hotels, family-owned establishments that give a city its unique character, and many are now facing the very real possibility of closure. From the hotels, the ripple spreads to the restaurant industry. Tourists eat out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They fill tables, order drinks, and leave tips that are the lifeblood for thousands of waiters, bartenders, and kitchen staff. With fewer tourists, restaurants near major attractions are seeing their lunch rushes and dinner rushes disappear. Then there is the impact on our cultural institutions and attractions. Museums, theaters, and concert halls are experiencing a sharp decline in ticket sales. On Broadway, producers are now in emergency meetings discussing how to handle the sudden drop in attendance. Half-empty Broadway theater during a supposed sold-out performance. Some are considering closing shows early, a move that would put hundreds of actors, stagehands, and musicians out of work. And we can't forget the retail sector. International tourists are often big spenders. They shop for luxury goods on Fifth Avenue, for electronics in Times Square, and for fashion on Rodeo Drive. They buy souvenirs to take home to their loved ones. All of that spending has slowed to a trickle. The ripple effect of the $250 visa fee is a powerful reminder of how interconnected our urban economies truly are. To understand the global reaction to this policy, you just have to listen to the travelers themselves. We've been monitoring social media and international news outlets, and the message is loud and clear. The $250 visa fee is being perceived as hostile and unwelcoming. On travel forums across Europe and Asia, would-be visitors are expressing their frustration. A common theme is the feeling that America simply doesn't want them. One user from the United Kingdom wrote, "I've always dreamed of taking my kids on a road trip across the U.S. But adding over $1,000 in visa fees for my family of 5 makes it impossible. We're going to explore the national parks in Canada instead." It feels like America is putting up a sign that says, "Tourists not welcome." This sentiment is being amplified by international media. News organizations from Brazil to South Korea are running stories about the American tourist tax. They frame it not as security but as a cash grab, making the U.S. an unaffordable luxury. Travel bloggers and influencers are posting videos and advising alternate destinations. They are creating top 10 lists of places to visit instead of the USA, highlighting countries that are more affordable and have simpler visa processes. We reached out to a travel agency in India that specializes in U.S. tours. The owner told us his business has collapsed. For my clients, a middle-class family, the U.S. was the dream trip, but this new fee is a deal-breaker. When I tell a family the visa cost alone will be $1,000, they laugh. They say, "For that price, we can have a whole vacation in Thailand." I have had to cancel all my group tours for the fall. My clients are not angry, they are just practical. They are taking their money elsewhere, to places that welcome them. What do the experts say about all this? We spoke with leading economists and travel industry analysts. The consensus is nearly unanimous. The $250 visa fee is a disastrous, self-inflicted economic wound. Dr. Emily Carter, a professor of economics at a major university who studies tourism, was blunt in her assessment. The policy is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of economic elasticity, she told us. The administration assumed that demand for travel to the U.S. was inelastic, meaning people would come no matter the price. That is demonstrably false. Travel is a discretionary expense and consumers are highly sensitive to price. The government has essentially priced a huge segment of the global travel market out of visiting the United States. Analysts from the U.S. Travel Association, a nonprofit representing the travel industry, have been warning about this exact scenario for over a year. Their latest report estimates that the U.S. economy will lose more than $20 billion in visitor spending in the first year. This translates to the potential loss of over 150,000 American jobs.
The math is devastatingly simple.
The revenue gained from the visa fees is a drop in the bucket compared to the massive amount of money we are losing from the visitors who are no longer coming. We are sacrificing billions of dollars to collect millions. Security experts are also questioning the logic of the policy. While they agree that modernizing our entry systems is crucial, they argue that funding it on the backs of tourists is counterproductive.
Security and tourism should be seen as partners, not adversaries. This policy makes that job harder, not easier.
So where do we go from here? The evidence is overwhelming. The empty streets, the vacant hotel rooms, the desperate pleas from business owners, and the stark warnings from economists all point to the same conclusion. The $250 visa fee is a failure. It was intended to strengthen our country, but it is actively weakening our economy and damaging our international standing. What started as a policy debate in Washington has become a full-blown economic crisis for cities and communities across the nation. This is not a partisan issue, it is a practical one. It is about jobs, livelihoods, and America's place in the world. The time for debate is over. The time for action is now. The path forward requires humility and a willingness to admit that a mistake was made. The federal government must listen to the mayors, the business owners, and the industry experts who are living with the consequences every day. They are not asking for a handout. They are asking for a chance to compete on a level playing field. They are asking for the government to remove the barrier that it has placed in front of their doors. Reversing or drastically reducing this fee is the first and most critical step to stopping the economic bleeding and beginning the long process of recovery. It is a move that would send a powerful message to the world. America is open for business again. Beyond simply reversing the policy, this crisis should serve as a wake-up call. Our leaders must recognize that international travel is not just a luxury, it is a powerful engine of economic growth and a vital tool of public diplomacy. Future policies must be crafted in consultation with the industries they will affect. We need to find a balance between ensuring our security and promoting the welcoming image that has drawn people to our shores for generations.